Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the full council meeting for tonight, for the 3rd of September 2025, and the Barn Green Room at 7:30 on the 3rd. First of all, before we go into the agenda, I'd like to welcome a new councillor, Councillor David Bevan, who's joined us this evening. Welcome, Councillor Bevan. And looking forward to working with you and the rest of the teams accordingly. So welcome to your first Denmead Parish Council meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet everyone.
Thank you.
Quite quiet tonight probably because I don't know much, so I'll be able to listen.
No problem at all, Mr. Councillor Bevan. Okay, moving on to item 1 then. Apologies. I think we only have the one apologies, correct, from Councillor Jones. So he's enjoying his vacation by the sounds of it. Right? Item 2, excuse me, declarations of interest. Arising from this agenda, members and officers are invited to declare any relevant interests. Notwithstanding this item, members may subsequently declare an interest at any point during the meeting. Do we have any declarations of interest from anybody for this evening, please? That's a no, thank you. Thank you. Item 3, to receive the minutes of the previous full council meeting, to receive and confirm the accuracy of the meetings, of the minutes, beg your pardon, of the council meeting held on the 2nd of July 2025. I do say that I wasn't at the meeting, so I can't recommend or vote or do anything regarding this because I wasn't there, but can I have any opinions, thoughts? I did. Councillor Langton Smith?
I suppose they're a true record of meeting, Chair.
Okay. Do I have a Councillor Androli? Second? Oh, okay. Sorry, Councillor Carson? Okay, we're good to go. Thank you. I'll sign those off accordingly.
Sorry,
I beg your pardon, I'm sorry. Yeah. So, based on that, true record, can we have a show of hands? See everyone, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Good, thank you. I've got these here. I'll just quickly sign those off, thank you. Okay. Item 4, excuse me, Denmead Parish Council projects. To note the ongoing project report from the parish clerk. Now, unfortunately, I don't believe that the parish clerk dispatched the parish council projects before leaving for vacation, and therefore I haven't received it. I know that our clerk tonight, RFO Jenny hasn't received it. I don't believe anyone else has seen it either, so I would recommend that we might have to defer this in terms of the next review for the council projects, unfortunately, unless anybody else has received it one-on-one as opposed to through the normal channels. Can I just make sure that no one has received it? No? Okay, in that case then, sorry, Councillor Kay? Oh, sorry, I thought you were asking. So I recommend that we can't note it, but it's just deferred to the next session. Okay? Thank you. Okay, section 5, public participation. This meeting will recess for not more than 15 minutes to allow any members of the public to address this meeting. I've noticed that we have some members of the public this evening. Good evening to you. Is anybody wishing to talk or speak about anything specifically tonight, please, for this council?
No? Okay.
No?
Okay. I know you're going to be discussing a couple of things. I'm Rob Stark, Chairman of the Community Centre here. Trustees.
Sorry, just 1 second. So, could you, the speaker is a little light on the phone here, so if you could just put a booming voice on as opposed to a soft voice, that would be appreciated. Thank
Rob
you.
Stark, Chairman of the Denmead Community Centre.
Thank you.
And I know you're going to be discussing applications I've put in to the clerk about a fence that we want to erect at the back, and our EPC licence, electricity licence, which thing that we need for our lease. But I'll need to do that later. One thing I want to do is just bring it out into the open because it's always been talked, and it does worry me about what's happening with the extension that we supposedly agreed to. I'll give you the background. In February 24, we had a working party headed up by Paula Langford-Smith. We were informed that the DPC of the DPC's desire to return to the Denby Community Centre. They left in early 24 when we had an issue with the fire rates, which were all fixed. We spent 13,000 quid, or rather the DPC did, on fixing it. And they instructed us to commence enhancement of the office accommodation by producing detailed drawings, and when the accommodation agreed with DPC's requirements to apply for planning permission. Following many planning meetings held between the DCC and the DPC regarding the office accommodation requirements, the ultimate layout was decided and agreed that it would meet the DPC's specific requirements. Full planning permission was applied for and eventually granted in August 24, and the design and planning fees of £7,000 were paid by the DPC. So we're now up to about 20,000 quid spent to get back to the state it is at the moment, but it's still not habitable because it needs some work on it. DCC were expressly informed that the target date for occupation was at the end of 25, until which time the parish council would continue to pay the monthly rent. By paying the monthly rent, it actually means that we are solvent. If you don't pay the monthly rent, you can't operate and this will close down. No central bus. Or it would carry on in a very shallow way. Wouldn't be able to get everybody in. We have 1,200 people a week using this now. I understand the DPC haven't decided they're not returning. It might be a rumour, but that's why I believe it's the case, and remain at their current Ashling Park offices. They will, however, continue to support the DCC by paying the monthly rent until the extension is built and completed, and you have secured a rent for a third-party occupant, which could or should provide a larger rent than you pay at the moment, so it will make it even better for the community. You'll have a building here that will pay for itself, and you won't have to worry about us. It goes without saying the DPC will be meeting the cost of the building, the extension, as decided, voted for and agreed in our full council meeting on September 4th, 2024. The cost was estimated at £185,000 in 24. However, an update on that estimate will be required due to the increased cost of building materials over the last 12 months. We are sad that you're not moving back. You might not be moving back. But if you are, we'd love to have you back. You know? Let's not say no. Or, you know, please come back. And if you're not, let's please build it. And let's work together on saving this lovely building. Okay? That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Sorry, Councillor Brown.
Can I just come back on a couple of items on that? Initially, it was actually DCC's planning application that went in, and DCC found out that they couldn't actually afford to build it, which is why DPC took it over. There has been no statement that DPC won't be coming back, so it's just scaremongering in the public domain. There has been no decision either way. As far as I'm aware, the offices are to be built and occupied by DPC. Just
No, thank you, Councillor Brown. Any other questions? Sorry, Councillor Langford-Smith.
I will also just add to that when we initially started out on the project, I explained my vision for this building, which included replacing the annex, which I did share with you guys, because the annex is at end of life and it's absolutely fundamental to this place running as an operational business. That is currently going into the neighbourhood plan, and we anticipate that we would attract community infrastructure levy funding towards that. So that is in the neighbourhood plan. However, that was my vision. That was included in the strategy, which, when I was chair, council agreed to. I don't know what conversations have been had since then. I'm certainly not aware that the staff are not coming back here. That may well be something that you want to address when you look at your strategy and what you want as a council to deliver going forward.
Mhm.
But that will mean revisiting the strategy and getting council to agree what your vision is in the future. But at the moment we are still working to the strategy which I developed in 2016, was reviewed in 2019 and was reviewed again in 2023. And that is published on the Parish Council website under policies.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Langford-Smith. Are there any other comments, questions? Is any other members of the public wishing to speak either on that particular or anything else before I decide to close the session? Okay, in that case I'll close the public session. Thank you very much indeed, members of the public. I think we've got most of that noted on the Okay. Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 6. To receive the minutes, reports and recommendations and resolutions from the meetings below. In accordance with SO 12C, the only minutes to be received by Council are those that have been approved by the appropriate committees, and these can be found on the website. So these are the highways and general purposes for the 18th of June 25, planning for 4th of June, 25th of June and the 16th of July 25, amenities for the 28th of May 2025, and finally the finance, administration and personnel for the 23rd of July 2025. See those? Okay. Thank you. 7. To receive the District Council report. To receive the report from the county and or district county and district councillors. Do we have any district council reports to reply?
We do.
We do. Councillor Langford-Smith, over to you, please.
Thank you, Chair. The first item is, no one would be surprised, it's the local government reorganisation. As I reported to last full council, this could have a significant impact on the parish and our residents, not just now but for years to come in terms of the services that the village receives and the costs associated with those services to residents. Both Winchester and Hampshire County Council have held briefings, and the Winchester consultation has been developed with 12 other councils across Hampshire and the Isle of Wight, and the response has been published in a report today. If you'd like to know more, there is a link on my document. There is also a joint statement from all 12 councils, and there is, I think it's a 320-page document. If you wish to wade through that, there's a link to that as well. As a district councillor, I held consultations at the Denby Parish Council Village Summer Party with the kind permission of the parish chairman, outside of the co-op and also the horticultural show. Subsequently, I wrote with views of residents to the leaders at Hampshire County Council, Portsmouth City Council and Winchester City Council. And as a direct result of this, I'm delighted to confirm that Denby is planned to remain within Winchester and the more rural parishes, so we will not be submerged under a Portsmouth unitary. The same cannot be said for Clanfield, Horndean, Rowlands Castle and Newlands. They are potentially all moving. Newlands are discussing that, I think, on the 7th. Test Valley, Chilworth, Nursling and Roundlands, and for the New Forest, Totton and Ealing, Marchwood, Hythe and Dibden and Forley could potentially all be going into the Southampton unitary, which will be boundary changes. So we are, basically they have listened to what residents said. So I spoke to over 350 residents, and I think there was, out of the 350, there were just 3 that said they wanted to go to Portsmouth. So they have listened to that feedback, which is great news for us as a parish, I believe. There is a Winchester City Council Special Council on the 24th of September to consider the submission and give our comments to Cabinet the 25th of September, and those recommendations then go to Government on the 26th. I'll give you this document.
Thank you.
And an update on the local plan examination. Winchester are still progressing, obviously. Inspectors' hearings have been completed, and the latest news is on the local plan website for anybody that is interested to have a look.
Nice job.
Sorry.
hot off the press as of today, wasn't it?
Indeed. It was embargoed until 9:30 this morning. I had a briefing yesterday
Thank you.
morning, but wasn't allowed to say
Thank you for
anything.
the update and thank you for your efforts, Councillor Langford-Smith.
No problem.
Any comments on that? I don't think so. No, okay.
Yeah, I'd like to.
So,
I'd
Councillor
like to-
Vickers?
Yeah, I'd like to echo that. Thank you for all the work that you've done. I know that you've been very proactive in
Just doing your job, ma'am.
garnering information and garnering views. So yeah, thank you.
So, Councillor Carson?
Whilst I'm extremely happy to hear the news, and equally I recognise Councillor Langford-Smith's efforts as a district councillor, I do think it's unfair to repeatedly hear and read that Denman Parish Council did absolutely nothing to gather residents' feedback, because that is fundamentally untrue. But I do recognise the hard efforts of Councillor Langford-Smith.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Carson.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, Chair. I
Sorry.
have to come back on that. The parish council did not undertake any consultation with residents.
Noted. Got it? Okay. Okay. Any other comments? And then we'll, thank you. Item 8 on the agenda. To consider which two committees our new Councillor David Bevan will sit as a member, to consider and determine action. Councillor Langford-Smith.
It depends what his interests are, really.
Well,
Which committees he feels he could contribute best on.
so, yeah, that's a very good point, and perhaps it may be an opportunity for Councillor Bevan just to do a quick intro, and because I think some of the people, most of the people, you haven't had a chance to meet, but in terms of interest and stuff, obviously with regards to the council committees.
Yeah, I mean, well, it all interests me, to be completely honest with you, but you know, I do have an interest in planning in particular, and getting a further understanding from that. I think, you know, in all honesty, anything I can bring to the table to support any of it is where value lies. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into any of it, but planning in particular is something that I like the sound of. And then quite happy to almost sort of be led by you guys as well a little bit, to be fair, and you know, what's going to support things best with the highways or something that's, you know, or amenity, so yeah.
Okay. So we have two. So Councillor Androli, then Councillor Brown.
I think it's fair to say that amenities is somewhat oversubscribed and the other two are somewhat undersubscribed.
I was just about to say the same thing, but you beat me to it, Councillor Androli, but thank you. Councillor Brown?
There is actually no restriction to sit on two committees. Councillor Bevan can sit on all three committees. I have done it for the past 11 years.
Maybe we need to break him in gently, though. I don't know. Okay. Sorry, Councillor Carson.
I would have loved to have you on amenities, but yeah, I mean, I would propose that it's planning and highways. I think that's where the need is.
Is that a proposal?
Yes.
Yes. Is that a
Yeah.
Councillor Androli seconded? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have a vote on that, please?
You can vote
Can I vote for this one?
You can vote as well. Yeah. So it looks like Councillor Bevan will be on planning and on highways. Mark, okay?
Yes.
Thank you. Welcome to council and welcome to the planning and welcome to the highways, Councillor Bevan. Thank you. Okay. Item 9 on the agenda, financials, orders for payment. To consider and approve the orders for payment, list 08. All invoices listed have been examined, verified and certified by the RFO. To consider and approve. Any Councillor Langford-Smith and then Councillor Brown. Sorry?
I propose we approve them, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Brown? Okay, thank you.
Unanimous.
Unanimous, is that a vote? Sorry, yeah. I'm just looking for the hand, thank you.
Councillor Bevan?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay to sign these then, right?
Yes, please. Okay.
Sides, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, item 10, reports from the parish representations on other bodies and organisations. Denby Community Centre, Councillor Ranger and Councillor Clay. Councillor Clay, did you want to give an update?
Yeah. Myself, me and myself met, I think it was the first Tuesday of the month, and raised at the Denby Community Centre meeting. The topic was the EPC, but that's going to be later on discussed on the agenda, so I just wanted to query how that progress was going. So we'll talk about that a bit later on. DCC wished to thank Denby House Council for the drainage costs, which was paid. The Promise in the Park was a good turnout, and a good profit was made from that. Plans are underway for the 25th Annual Beer Festival, which will be held on the 1st of November, is that right? Yeah, 1st of November. They also attended the horticultural show, and their presence there went well, despite the low turnout this year. I think it was half compared to what was last year. It's still good. And they took the opportunity to sell some more annual raffle tickets, which I think you're still trying to sell. If anyone's interested in some DCC annual raffle tickets, come see Rob and the team. And apart from that, that's
Okay.
it. This is going on.
May I have a copy?
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Clay. Probably stay with your good self then for an update on the Winchester District Association of Local Councils and Southern Parishes then, please.
Yeah, sure. Just a couple of topics to note. The update on devolution and local government review proposals was done by Jonathan Williams. Jonathan gave an outline of the HCC proposals and informed members that the HCC consultation will close on the 17th of August 2025. Their financial arguments for having only 3 unitaries on the mainland seem not to be backed up with robust evidence at this stage. It also gave a reminder all councils have to submit proposals to government in the entire Hampshire and Surrey area by September the 26th. Another topic, there was an update from the SDMP, which is the South Downs National Park, by John Highland. John informed members that Reg 18 is being reviewed at the moment and will be published in the autumn. Reg 19 will be reviewed in May, June 2026. The local plan has already been adopted. There are some rural exception sites being considered and the boundaries are not likely to change. So that was the 2 main ones. Also talked about bus services in Winchester and sewerage again, which was another topic which was at the previous one, so that seems to be ongoing.
Okay, thank you for that update, Councillor Clay. Hambledon and District Welfare and Education Trust, Councillor Andreoli.
There's only 2 meetings a year, Chair, June and December, so there won't be another report for a couple of months.
Okay, noted, thank you. Demi Scout Liaison, Councillor Clay, Councillor Stallard.
Yes, might as well do these 2 together if that's okay.
Which 2,
And
sorry?
the one that comes straight after.
The lease working party, okay, yeah.
We met as agreed to try and save double meetings, etc. Myself, Councillor Berry, Daniel met and discussed ongoing project of the new Scouts huts. Currently awaiting a response from Fields and Trust. Also conducted a site walk around and we checked on the potholes that were filling in and the cracks that were also filled in, if you remember the repairs. All good so far. Also raised a concern over the proximity of hanging branches making contact with the solar panels of the Scout hut. So there's some trees that are beginning to reach over and make contact. So they're a little bit worried about the damage that might do. So I said I'll bring that to the relevant committee as one of their concerns to look at. And pretty much that's where we are with Scouts at the moment. Everything's kind of on hold. Fields and Trust.
And then the DPC lease working party.
Yeah, that's all under that. I did it on.
You don't want to. Okay, you
put
them together. Okay.
No changes and updates.
Okay, thank you. And then the final 2 for Denmead Football Club, Councillor Clay and Stallard, and Denmead Bowling Club, Councillor Clay and Stallard.
So the football club, we are trying to arrange a date for a meeting. We submit some dates and just waiting to hear for them to come back. And straight on to the bowling club. We have also circulated some dates and we have a few to choose from which I've gone back to the bowling club, so I'm just waiting for the chairman now to confirm which of those dates they want to meet, which will be our first meeting for us to introduce ourselves as the new party. So
So
hopefully this
Bo-
month.
both are waiting dates to be
From
confirmed.
the football club, not heard nothing back from, but the bowling club we have heard, and it will be this month for which date they choose.
Okay. Thank you. Any comments from anybody on specifically on any of the bodies or organisations there? So, Councillor Androli.
The football club tend to be silent for a long time and then will suddenly appear with a complaint. We tend not to hear from them very often. And the number of times that we've actually heard from them recently has reduced. So hopefully that means they're happy.
Silence is concurrence, right? Thank you. Okay. No other points on that. I'll move on to item 11 then, which is the Denby Community Centre, which is the, thank you, to consider a request from Denby Community Centre to erect a non-permanent fence on part of the land at the community centre to consider and determine action. So Councillor Carson.
So, the amenities clerk forwarded the letter for supporting documents, but do you actually have that? Because really we should read that out. If not, I have the copy here that you distributed, which I can read. Okay, so you've got
No,
that actually.
yeah, I haven't got.
With the chair's permission, I'll read the letter that came in. So this is from the DCC from Rob Stark, sent to the clerk, to the parish council. Dear Joe, I'm writing to request consent to the Denby Community Centre's to erect some non-permanent deer and rabbit-proof fencing around an area in our rear field. The fence will include a non-lockable gate, again to prevent animal entry, not humans. I believe that consent to do this cannot be unreasonably withheld or delayed, as we are allowed to do this under clause 7.1 of our lease, which states, 7.1, not to build or erect any building in or on the property, or to make any alteration or addition to any man, building or structure on the property, and not to make any opening in any boundary structure of the property without the consent of the landlord, and such consent not to be unreasonably withheld or delayed. Please can you submit this for consideration on September the 3rd. Thank you in anticipation. Kind regards, Rob Stark.
Okay.
That was distributed to full council.
Anyway, we sent it on okay, beforehand. Okay. So has everyone had a chance to review that on the email system then before? Because it wasn't flipped back under the packs, yeah? I've seen more than those. So can I ask for comments to consider and determine action? Councillor Scully.
Is there any particular reason for this fence to be put up? I mean, have we been suddenly inundated with thousands of rabbits or something like that? Because any other knowledge, that sort of thing. And usually deer come and go all the time anyway, so I don't see this as a problem really. So I'd like to know what the real problem is and why the fence is being erected. Just out of interest.
Councillor Langford-Smith and Councillor Brown. Sorry.
I have 2 points. Have the residents been consulted? Because I know that was the issue last time for the area behind the bungalows. We had one resident complain and the whole project fell. So I would hate for that to happen again, because Greening, I assume this is the Denby Greening, Greening were very, very keen on that area. It was already fenced off with a locked gate. We did all the investigations as to where the cabling ran. We worked out that there was a path suitable, or an area suitable for a path, and they could do raised beds, etc. So that seemed to be an ideal solution. And we had one resident complain, and all of a sudden it's back at the community centre. So that's one point, having consulted with residents. And my other point is, so we have the lease agreement with the DCC, which obviously says that if council agree, then they can do that, and it's not to be unreasonably withheld. Are we requesting that DCC have an agreement with greening in place? Because, God forbid, should DCC fail and walk away, council could then be left with, in effect, residents who have the right to have that piece of land. If they've had it, I don't know, for 10 years or whatever, they then have that. And it's, what do we as a council then do? We've got land fenced off that's used with no agreement in place. So I believe that DCC should have some kind of licence to cultivate, as we had with greening, that means that you set the conditions, what they can and can't do there. So they can't plant oak trees, for example, which would undermine foundations of buildings and all that sort of thing. And that if there is a break clause, then you have a legally binding agreement that they sign up to for your own protection as well as councils.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Langford-Smith. Councillor Brown, I think you had your hand raised.
I did, yeah. It was part of the reason why this was actually passed to the Leeds Working Party at the last full council meeting. Obviously we have a report from Councillor Carson, which should have come from the Leeds Working Party, which should have investigated exactly the things that Councillor Langford-Smith has just discussed. And I'd also like to know what non-permanent fencing is.
Okay, sorry, Councillor Carson.
I wonder whether it would be helpful to be open to allow the member of public works to answer some of these questions. That's your question.
Bearing in mind this particular topic is specifically for the community centre, and the chair of the community centre is sitting in the public, I'm okay to open the public participation just for, should you wish, to address the questions regarding the type and the fence and the some of the questions that have been raised. So if everything's okay, I'll open the public participation specifically for item 11, so I'll answer some of the questions for a few minutes, if that's okay.
We will be led by you with regard to whatever, if Denmead Greening are allowed to come here. We were proposing Harris fencing. You sink the bases into the ground, you just pull them out. They're not fixed, they're not anything. They're the ones that they put around building sites. But they are, they're not liable. You can't climb over them and deal with them. And we do have a problem with deer. You get lots of deer. And if you go in loads of cabbages and vegetables, you don't want deer still, do you? Only the old deer.
So can I just ask about public?
Absolutely, Councillor Langford-Smith, yes. Yeah, public participation is still open, so yeah.
I'm quite happy to go and knock on the doors. Check. I'm sure there won't be any problem.
I'm sure there won't be, but we didn't think there would be in Ashling Park Road, because it's literally just like having a neighbour in their garden, but they felt there was an intrusion on privacy. So, and then also with regards to the an agreement, much like I'm sure we could provide you with a copy of the licence to cultivate, and you could just
We'll be
plagiarise
led
that.
by you. You tell us what you want to see. We don't want to get stuck either with anybody. So.
Councillor Langford-Smith, I think you had a question, did you? Sorry, Councillor Carson, sorry. No? Okay. Sorry, is that a yes or no, sorry?
Yeah. Thoughts in the process.
Okay.
Thoughts in the process. I mean, the 7.1 does clearly say that the consent of the landlord be required, but it should not be unreasonably withheld or delayed. And I have to say that we've seen significant delay with what appears to be a very simple request. And I'd just like to see that, and I think Rob is voicing that let's get this done. It's under, I think, also 8.3 of the lease agreement, which I need to pull out, but it is relevant. Do you recall it off the top of your head, the wording, 8.3? You don't. I'm not, if we're talking about a sort of formal licence to cultivate, it doesn't need to be at that cost level of a normal licence to cultivate. But you know, if Rob wishes to charge £1 a year or whatever, then I think 8.3 makes it clear that he can do that without need to reverting back to ourselves. I'd certainly like to see that. I just think we spent an awful lot of time on this. It's a simple request. It's non-permanent fencing. I'm not quite sure why we would.
We put your mind on this. We have, as I said, 1,200 people a week here. We have the preschool. We have the dance school. We have the Denmead band. They've all got contracts. We will have a contract. But it's renewable on a 3-monthly basis.
Thank you. Councillor Brown, and then Councillor Clay, then Councillor Loafers. So Councillor Brown first, I think. Sorry.
I don't understand why it's being pushed through. It is, I think we're trying to protect DCC as well as DPC, and rushing it through, even in the statement that Councillor Carson did, says that there is no, Greening are not looking to do anything until next year anyway. So where is the rush?
So just to say, we'll go Councillor Clay first, and then.
Mine's asking to make a proposal. I think the consultation idea is quite good. I think we should ask the neighbours, just to, covering how we got here from the previous licence to cultivate and where it was before. I think we need to be careful. There is no rush. Greening isn't in such a hurry, so we could tick that box. If Rob's happy to do as he says, go and speak to some of the residents neighbouring that area. In the meantime, perhaps working with Leith Brecon, we can come up with an agreement in that time. We can tick another box, and then during that period, we can prepare ourselves to then bring that back to council next time. That would be my proposal at this stage.
Before we,
wants to add
I think there was a couple of adds to the. Sorry, I think. Oh, were you? Beg your pardon. In that case, please go ahead, Councillor.
So I didn't mention any cost. What I said was that we could give them a copy of our licence to cultivate, and you can plagiarise that. If you choose to charge, then that is entirely your business. It's your business model. How you run that is up to you. I don't see any reason for delay, because we've already got the licence to cultivate. We just give it to Mr. Stark. He can have a conversation with Greening, have a conversation with the neighbours.
Exactly.
If everything is hunky-dory, bring that back to the council.
Yeah.
No problem.
Thank you. Agreed. So,
My only question is insurance, because insurance of the garden and people being in there and the tools, and because at the moment Denmead Parish Council pay the insurance premium, and so I'm thinking public liability.
We never saw it as a profit opportunity, so there was never intention to charge. It's to provide a community garden. And Denmead Green, I would assume they will cover that themselves, insurances and things like that.
We would need to see that.
I think there would need to be evidence of that, right?
Yeah. Yes.
That would be right, wouldn't it?
Sorry.
Denmead Green pay their own insurance, and
If
we're not certainly paying any
they've got the
insurance.
funds
We're not buying
to
the
do
fence.
it,
It mustn't cost us anything.
No, I appreciate that, but it's the insurance, it's the public liability.
So,
that would be something for Greening.
Yeah.
so could I, Councillor Andreoli, then Langford Smith, and then we'll come back to the proposal. Oh, sorry, Councillor Vickers had a hand, did she? So Councillor Andreoli first, and then first up.
Whichever order the chairman picks. I was only going to point out that I don't think any of us wants to block this, but we need to be aware somebody somewhere needs to ensure that Mr. Stark says Harris fencing is unclimbable. Then undoubtedly might well be somebody who might try, and then if they're injured, who is responsible? So somebody needs to ensure against, I'm tempted to say, idiots trying to get in, to climb in.
Well, the door won't be locked. So.
Yeah, I know, but it's still.
Right.
You get members of the younger members of the public who will go along and go, oh, this is really good.
Okay, thank you.
Somebody somewhere needs to ensure the public against the problem with that fence.
Sure.
Either no problem with the fence, no problem with Greening being inside it.
Can I ask, the equipment you have, which is yours, the gym equipment that's out in the back there, do you cover the insurance on that for anybody falling off and hurting themselves?
Yes, we do.
Okay, just Councillor Vickers, and I think it was Councillor
I
Lincoln.
was just going to echo what Councillor Andrew Overy said about, I think these sort of discussions about the insurance need to be, because the police working party and, you know, it covered in the agreement, so it's all boxed off for you. And so I too don't think there should be any allowed, but this has been passed back from one committee to the other, and I think it needs to be expedited as quickly as we can, but in terms of keeping it safe for you guys and keeping it safe for us.
Anybody who comes here and rents either outside or inside and brings a bouncy castle or a slide or anything else has to produce an insurance scheme to prove that they're covered on insurance.
Yes, thank you. And then Councillor Langford Smith will then.
Yeah, just to say, as a council, we have always made sure that we do our due diligence, so not just pushing stuff through, it has to be considered properly by committee and discussed as we're doing now. Also to say, Denmead in Bloom used to have their own insurance, but they applied to us for a grant for that insurance. So Greeley could do the same, so that they have their insurance, but they apply to us for a grant for it, because it's unlikely. I know that they've got some lottery funding, but if they don't have enough funding, they can apply to the parish council for a grant for the insurance.
Okay, thank you. I'll close the public session again, then, if that's okay. Thank you. And then to come back to the point in terms of to consider and determine action, there was a sort of a proposal I thought I heard from Councillor Clay earlier. Can you re-summarise that, Councillor Clay, and then? Councillor Brown.
I think he said that he was going to ask Mr. Stark to contact the neighbours.
Yeah,
which
that was. I heard that bit. Yeah.
There was then a look at the lease side of things, or the licence to cultivate side of things, to make sure that it could be passed over. I can't remember a lot.
Councillor Clay, go on then.
Yeah, so my amendment would be to have that discussion about the insurance to make sure we're covered on that as well. So I'm happy to meet with Greeley.
Right. Okay. So was that?
We need to vote on
I was going to say there's.
Secondary.
I know. I'm just giving Jenny a time to catch up. Sorry, because there was a lot of options.
So, no. So the proposal was to contact the neighbours, to look at the licence to cultivate, and for the insurance cover to be investigated to make sure that everyone's compliant and safe.
And they can apply to us for a grant for insurance if they don't have it.
Then that means we paid for it.
Oh.
Am I allowed to say one thing?
No. Public participation is closed at the moment.
In pouring through the budget, there was an item there with some money in it, about £400.
And that's another.
That's the different thing, I think. So
We can't talk. Yeah, we can't talk about
No,
them
no,
here.
no.
They're not
It's
here.
not on the topic.
No.
Okay, so we've got the proposal.
I'll second.
So I have a sorry. Is that a question or a second? Oh, well, you're beaten at the post, I'm afraid. So we have a proposal and a second. Can I have a vote, please, on the proposal, please? Councillors, vote on the proposal, please.
Thank you.
I think that was a unanimous. Yeah?
Yeah. Thank you.
So with the satisfactory there, and with the views of those, we bring that back to the next session and we go for that.
Next for council.
Yeah, next for that. Okay. Thank you. Right. That's item 11. Item 12. Transfer of the proper officer role. To transfer the role of the proper officer from the RFO to the parish clerk following her successful completion of her probationary period. To approve. Councillor Langford Smith.
Since I know Jenny's desperate, and it is our general protocol, Chair, that once the clerks finish their probation, the proper officer role is transferred.
Okay. So
the majority of councils, the proper officer is clerk.
Yep. Well aware of that one. So Councillor Carson.
If that's a proposal, I will second it.
Councillor Okay, so do we have a show of hands, please, in favour of that? Congratulations.
Jenny, I'm investing your right.
Item 12.
Can we formally thank
I was
Jenny
just-
for covering
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah, officer,
I
right.
think it's a very valid point, Councillor Langford-Smith.
right
It's a,
task?
Thank you
it's a
very
big,
much.
multifaceted role, isn't it, in terms of the league. So
Certainly
please note the
has.
thanks from all of us.
Thank you very much.
And thank you once again.
True role.
I'm sure the chair will get you a bunch of flowers to say thank you.
Stop.
They're outside already in the bucket, ready for
You don't need to
Can you
do
see 'em?
that.
We've got to be grown first, and green.
Okay. Right, item 13, sorry. Item 13, thank you. Okay, right.
Very much
Item
so,
13, Demi Daycare. To consider to consider a reduction in rent and utility charges due to the essential plumbing works being undertaken between Monday the 27th of October and Friday the 31st of October at the Pavilion, to discuss and determine action. Now, hopefully you've all had a chance to review some of these notes on the pack that was sent out by Francis, I believe, earlier on item 13, Demi Daycare. Can I have some... Oh, hang on. Yes, sorry, Councillor Carson.
So the letter from the owner pointed out that it was half term, or asked if it could be rescheduled for half term, which was a sensible suggestion, and indeed it has been rescheduled for half term. It doesn't mean that she is closed for that week, but she does say that she typically gets much less children in half term. So I'm wondering if there could be some form of pro rata reduction for that 1 week, but taking into account that she would have had reduced income anyway. So
Mhm.
not a regular 4 weeks refund.
Okay. I think I had Councillor Andrew earlier, then Councillor Langford-Smith.
I was tempted to query what the effect on Demi Daycare would be if we didn't do the plumbing, because most of the stuff that needs doing is stuff that they've asked for or that they've complained about. So, whether they would continue in the vein they would like to, if this work isn't done, what sort of consideration might be.
Okay.
We are effectively closing them down for a week for their benefit in a time when it's when they're having, as we've heard, have less children to look after it anyway.
Right.
If anything, we're putting the problem onto the parents of the children that would normally be there. No, I am somewhat reluctant to agree to this, but that's just one opinion, obviously.
Councillor Langford-Smith and Councillor Clay.
Can I ask the responsible financial officer's view on how easy it would be to calculate how many fewer children she's likely to have that week and then do the pro rata calculations for the reduction and factoring in your time costs for doing said calculations?
I would query whether there would be a president's president's set. It's an old building. This could be the tip of the iceberg. I've never done it before, I don't believe, in the 14 years I've been here. It would be very, very hard for me or anybody else to calculate how many children, how many staff, what their hourly rate
Full day,
is,
half a day.
whether they're in,
Yeah.
because obviously I'm only in 15 hours.
Sure.
I wouldn't be able to do it, I don't think.
Okay.
In all honesty.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Vickers?
I tend to agree with Councillor Andreoli. I think if you take on premises and you have a list of things that you request, I think you take the rough with the smooth, really. And I think that I would not be happy that, again, the precedent would be set and it would just start a ball rolling. So I think the daycare want the alterations. It's half term. I think one mitigates the other, really, and I don't think that actually we should be bearing the cost of that. So I would disagree.
Okay. Councillor Clay?
So yeah, I'd just like to share my view, the same as Councillor Andrew early, the same as those. I think that's a fair point. They want the work underdone, maybe during the quietest time.
Mm-hmm.
They take it on knowing that those things might need doing, so I'm in the same.
Okay. Sorry, I was just about to ask Councillor Andrew.
Another point that occurs to me, of course, at that time, very likely that the building will need to be heated at the end of October, whether there's somebody in there or not, it's still using fuel to heat it.
Sure. Okay. Do I have any proposal then from anybody, unless there's any other comments from anyone?
I'll propose that we decline the request.
No, I would second that, Councillor Andrew.
Can I have a show of hands then, please, on that?
Thank you.
That was pretty unanimous, I think. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep, that was unanimous.
Thank you very much indeed, councillors, for that. Okay, item 14, Safer Neighbourhood Panel. To consider tabling an agenda item at full council every 6 months and then advertise that the police will be in attendance. The next Safer Neighbourhood Panel meeting is scheduled for the 24th of October 2025, but there has been little attendance at these meetings by the people that can answer most of the questions raised. To consider and determine action. Councillor Brown.
I asked for this to be on the agenda because at the time I was chair of highways and highways, Safer Neighbourhoods came under highways. I think in the last 4 meetings, the only time we've actually had our local constables attend was when they were told to by the Police and Crime Commissioner. Because they found out that she was coming and lo and behold they all turned up. It's not a council meeting, it's a meeting that's held by the parish council on behalf of the other bodies that attend. And the last meeting there was Neighbourhood Watch, the Deputy Police and Crime Commissioner was here, Councillor Stallard from Hampshire, and that was it. And 7 members of the public, I think, roughly.
Okay.
So it's the viability of it happening. I would like to see if we can get the police and the other bodies to attend, that we actually keep doing it. Because it is a good point of people are asking questions rather than having to email and get responses and things, and face to face is quite often easier for a lot of people.
Yep. Councillor beg your pardon, Councillor Andrew, then Councillor Langford-Smith.
Yeah, in addition to Councillor Brown's comment, the Safer Neighbourhoods Panel, which would be 2 years ago next month, we were told the police couldn't attend. Then they found out that the Home Secretary was coming, because our MP was at the time Home Secretary. And suddenly, not only did we have our local constable and our local sergeant, we had an inspector from Winchester. It's funny how their minds got concentrated, and they've not attended since.
Right, okay.
I would say we're trying to call a meeting that is struggling to get anybody to come and talk to the public.
Okay. Councillor Langford-Smith.
In 2016 we used to have Sergeant Gilmore attend from Bishop's Waltham, along with 2 PCSOs, one of whom was supposed to be allocated to Denmead as the Denmead PCSO. Winchester are supposed to send their environment team and also the fly tipping and enforcement people. They don't even send reports anymore. And policing, I think, has changed so much since 2016. We're supposed to have a village bobby. He turned up to 1 meeting and is actually no longer in the role. He's moved on and not been replaced. So we again don't have a village bobby. I think times have changed so much, and I do actually even wonder if you will get any reports or anyone attending a full council. I think it's worth having it on the agenda every 6 months, and for Clark to write out to ask them for reports or to attend, even if I mean, Donna Jones actually got them to provide us with some statistics. Steph Wheeler-Osman is the CSO, and she provided us with some statistics to read out. But as Councillor Brown said, you know, we can't answer any of those questions. If people have any questions on those statistics, we're not able to answer them.
Agreed.
So you may as well just put the report in the minutes,
Yeah.
as opposed to actually host a meeting.
Okay,
So I would
thank you.
propose that we just have it on the agenda every 6 months as an item if we can get someone to provide us with information or attend.
Great, thank you. Councillor Carson, I think you had a...
Can Councillor Branson, the last one, the 7 members public, is that low level of public engagement typical across the meetings that there have been?
Councillor Brown.
No, there had been, we've been in the main hall before and there have been 30 people in there. It's never a massive turnout. It used to be on a Thursday afternoon, I think it was, and it was moved to an evening because numbers dwindled in the afternoon. It's the nature of people turning up.
Okay. Right.
I personally would like to see us give it one more try and try and get the people to commit to it. If they don't, then it's run its own course.
Right. So there was a proposal, I think, from Councillor Langford's. Was that a proposal earlier?
No, I
Councillor-
made a proposal that we just have it on an agenda every 6 months.
Right, Councillor Clay,
I think it's a sensible idea. I second that.
to have it on the...
Yeah, that's the best approach to it.
Any other comments before I ask for a vote on that? Yeah. Can I have a sorry, Councillor Vickers.
I sort of agree with Councillor Brown actually, and I think we should give it one last go because some of the things that come to these meetings are about low level. If you remember about the drug use in the you know in the playing fields and stuff like that. So I do think for the village we need to give it one last go and agree with you, Councillor Brown, that if we don't get it then we can demonstrate to the village that we are trying, and then if we do get it then we need to put it out there on our social media and try and garner the support because people do come to these meetings and they do make reference to the crime and the antisocial sort of behaviour that does take place in some areas of the village. So that would be a natural way to talk about these things.
Thank you. Councillor Carson.
What if we actually made it clear to the relevant bodies that because of the disappointment we were going to give this one last go, and if it doesn't work then that would be it.
Put
So
some
we
things
actually
on there.
put the
So is that a...
sorry, and then if we get an indication that we're going to get some involvement, that we actually make efforts to publicise that and get public attendance.
So can I get a proposal on that basis then, or
We've had a...
well, beg your pardon, we've already had a proposal. I'm sorry, you're right. Sorry to correct
We
you.
just have to vote on one
So
proposal.
let's go back to
Proposal.
remind us what your original proposal was.
We have it on the agenda once every 6 months,
Right.
and try and get either information or get people to attend. If they don't, we don't have it on the agenda. So what we need to do is take a vote on that. If that fails, then you can ask for a second proposal.
Agreed. Thank you very much indeed, Councillor Langford Smith. Right. So let's have a show of hands. Shall I have a second on I think you seconded, right?
Councillor Clay.
So a show of hands on the proposal for the agenda on every 6 months. Proposal from Councillor Langford Smith. Those in favour? So
Is that four?
that was a 4. And then, I'm just making sure we have the count. Sorry. Those against? Okay, so on that base, so Councillor Brown?
I'll make a proposal that we have one last effort on arranging a meeting and get relevant bodies to attend, and if from that they don't attend or public don't attend, then it's to be looked at after.
Okay. That's the proposal, was it? Yep. Do I have a second for the proposal? Second from... Okay, so can we have a... You second that, Councillor Carson. Can I have a show of hands then, please, in favour of that proposal? There we go, that's fine, I think. Okay.
Mhm.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, moving on, question 15, Denmead War Memorial Hall. To discuss and consider an email request from the Denmead War Memorial Hall for agreement to change the constitution to discuss and determine action. Now, for those of you that have had a chance to read, oh sorry, I thought you had your hand up, sorry. Hopefully everyone's had a chance to read this. This was quite informative. I thought this particular update when I was reading it, I must admit. Because one thing that I'd just add my comment, if I may, is that obviously times have changed and the way that the information was certainly portrayed in the updates from Jackie, I think it was. And the fact is, it's like a 100-year-old ruling or constitutional rule. But surely in this day and age, from my perspective, as long as the majority of the members are residents, I personally wouldn't see a problem. If the majority, not everybody needs to be either in or out of Denmead, but certainly the majority needs to be, would be my thoughts. That's just my observation from reading the documents. Councillor Brown?
The problem being is that the document was written a long time ago, and they were the rules back then.
Yeah.
So it's never been changed, which is why they're obviously now asking for
change, yeah. But it doesn't actually say something about the, you see, that it doesn't say like the percentage or the numbers of members either in or out. So Councillor Langford-Smith, sorry.
So there is a lease that does have a specification as to the percentage of residents, and that's the bowling club lease. So that's
the bowling
a
lease,
newer
right?
lease.
Okay.
So the agreement with this, with the War Memorial Hall was drawn up this way because if anything happens to the War Memorial Hall, it will be the parish council that they come to for funding. And of course our funding comes from the residents of the village. And so you could have people voting on issues at the War Memorial Hall and then expect funding to come from the parish council. So I think it was back in the 70s, the roof burnt down and the parish council paid for it to be replaced, and that came out of parish council funds. So I'm thinking that's why they had it as an agreement that it had to be residents, because it's residents' money being spent. As you quite correctly say, in this day and age, people live all over the place and a lot more mobile. You think when that was written, people didn't have vehicles as readily, so it would have been normal for people to be in the village and be part of it.
Good update and history lesson, thank you. I wasn't aware that it
Mine
goes
useless information.
Councillor Clay and Councillor Brown.
So, my opinion, I was under the same view. I believe that membership should at least be half.
Half, did you say?
Yeah, or percentage that represents half
Right.
of the village, and then the other half could be outside.
Okay.
I was under that view. That's my
But that's not the majority. 51 and 49. Councillor Brown?
No.
Councillor
Along
Brown?
those lines, my concern was that everyone could be from outside rather than inside.
Right.
So,
Councillor Brown, sorry.
I think it's a little bit hypocritical that we say that people can't be members of the committee when we have members of this council that don't actually live in this village.
Okay, noted. Right, Councillor Carson?
Councillor Langford-Smith mentioned the bowling club. Can you remember the percentages that were agreed on that lease? With your mind of,
I think it's 60%.
60.
Okay.
Just to have.
I wouldn't swear on the Bible, but I think.
Councillor Angeli?
Yeah, goes back to 1923, I think.
I wasn't around then.
Well, no, was I? I can't go back and find out I was.
I didn't see you.
I think it was something like 1923 the original hall was built, and I suspect the constitution comes from then.
Right.
And if you talk to the older members of the village, they will tell you that the men coming back from the First World War built it with their bare hands. How true that is, I can't comment, but yeah, I think it should be a majority, as you suggested. So if you were making a proposal, I will second that it should be that we have no objection to the change, provided it says more than 50% should be from the village.
That is that a proposal?
Well, I assume that's what you propose.
Well, I
I
was
second it.
airing my thoughts at the
Yeah.
beginning, so
Yeah.
yes, you seconded that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, can I, unless there's any other comments, can I have a show of hands on that proposal then, please? Okay. Got it. Good, thank you. History lesson as well, look at that. Okay. Okay, item 16, Denmead Community Centre. To consider advice from Tozers LLP and quotes received for an EPC at Denmead Community Centre to discuss and determine action. And I think you've all had a chance to read the notes that certainly got here from, sorry, Councillor Castle.
So I found George's letter confusing because we're not selling it, which is when an EPC would be required, or if we're having a new tenant. We've not met any of those exceptions that are mentioned, and I'm confused. She then advises that we do obtain an EPC, but it doesn't seem to match what she says in her letter. And it is a lot of money. I'm surprised how much money it is.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit confused. I don't think the letter. Why do we need to get an EPC if we were to do the building works, for instance, then perhaps that might be a time to do it if we needed to, and only if we needed to. And I'm just a bit confused by that letter.
Okay. Councillor Bevan and then Councillor
The
Langford.
corresponding definitely expired.
We don't have one.
Yeah, okay.
But you don't.
What? I can only speak on my own commercial premises, it may be differently, but we did one literally 6 months ago, purely because we were selling the business.
Because you were
We
selling
were
it.
selling it, so the only reason we had to do it.
Okay, thank you.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have had to.
Councillor Langford Smith.
This building is rented out to the DCC. Okay, it's under a lease, but they pay us a rent, and therefore it qualifies, which is why Georgia has said
Rented.
we're not under any of the exceptions. None of the exemptions apply, and therefore we need to do an EPC.
Yeah. Councillor Brown.
The only exemption made for when the EPC is actually started is that this building falls so low below that it won't qualify for the get higher fibration.
Right.
Unless we tell to take all the heating out and things like that.
Good luck. Okay. Any other comments before I ask for? I'm sorry, Councillor Langford Smith.
We've got 2 quotes. I assume that an EPC is an EPC is an EPC, so I propose that we go with the lowest quote.
The one from Resolution Energy, I think that is.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
Resolution Energy, £914.68.
Sorry, Councillor Brown.
Second that proposal.
Okay. Do I have a show of hands for in favour of that proposal, please?
Thank you.
Do you catch that? Yeah, you got it? Yeah. Great. Thank you. Agenda 16. Yeah. Okay, so item 17 is the confidential to pass a resolution in accordance with the Public Bodies Admission to Meetings Act 1960 to exclude the public and the press for discussions of a confidential report relating to the following.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your help.
Good evening. Thank you.